They left these kids alone. They had the camera on them. They watched these kids, and then they'd actually eat it. And so then when the person comes in, they're like, hey, you ate the marshmallow. I can't give you another one. So those kids who ate the marshmallow, they were interested more in instant gratification. Hey everybody. So today's topic is going to be about generating long-term wealth and how that's tied in with this concept of delayed gratification. And I would say that the two are very much related. So here's the thought. In order to save and invest for the long term, right? So we're thinking about 20-year-olds saving and investing to generate long-term wealth that would be available when they're 65, when they're retiring. In order to do that, you have to believe and you have to feel the sense of delayed gratification. There was this study that was done, and the kids were like ages 4 through 8 or so. And what they were done is they were brought into this room, and on the table, they were given a marshmallow. And they were given instructions that said, you can have one marshmallow, and you can choose to eat it if you want, or about 15 minutes later from now, I'm going to come back into the room and you get 2 marshmallows. And so what they did was they left these kids alone. They had the camera on them. They watched these kids. There were some kids who looked at the marshmallow. They didn't touch it because their thought was, if I don't touch this one marshmallow, pretty soon somebody's going to come in and they're going to give me another marshmallow. But then there were other kids who were like, I see that marshmallow in front of me. I want that marshmallow. I'm not going to wait. And so then when the person comes in, they're like, hey, you ate the marshmallow. I can't give you another one. So those kids who ate the marshmallow, they were interested more in instant gratification. And then those kids who would wait, they'd get a second one. So they had delayed gratification. They actually got 2 marshmallows instead. So this is what's described as being, very similar to wealth building. So really what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to wait, I'm going to delay my gratification because if I delay, I'm actually going to have more. And the way that the whole compounding interest and return on investment works is that if you wait, you're going to get more and more and more gratification coming from your delayed purchases and things like that. So it's a very important concept to have. And in fact, it goes really contrary against anything that you see in advertising or people trying to get you to spend money. Typically they think of YOLO, right? You only live once. So if you're only going to live once, you better go ahead and spend and get your gratification as soon as possible. It also, says things like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how long you're going to live, so why wait? In fact, you should spend your money now because you don't know if you're going to drop dead today, tomorrow, next year or whatever, right? So just go ahead and spend your money. So really about wealth building and about generational wealth is you're thinking long term. So you're thinking, generational wealth is not only thinking about my lifetime, but the lifetime of my descendants, right? So my kids and grandkids and setting them up. So really that's very long-term and delayed gratification because, I'm setting up my kids and my grandkids for me not even being around anymore. So I really want you to think about this. It's delayed gratification, and you have to come to terms with this in order for you to really generate long-term wealth. All right. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.